Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to our 26-27 graduate orientation. I'm Professor Marcia Roy, and I'm the Director for Graduate Studies and Research, and I'm going to be your host this afternoon. Now, the general orientation for new graduate students really is to just introduce new graduate students to a few of our procedures and processes and services offered by the University of the West Indies Mona campus. This session is specially designed to help you navigate university life effectively. We know that graduate school can be a challenging time, and the individuals who are going to address you today, those individuals are the ones who are going to help you to navigate those administrative issues that you might have so you can spend your time getting the best grade that's possible and getting the best degree that's possible. Round about this time each year, I do a lot of introspection because I thought about the time when I started graduate school and when I started my PhD. I'm not going to say when. It was one of the best decisions that I have ever made. We also want to indicate that this is the general orientation where we're going to give you information about our processes and important information. You're going to hear from the Student Loan Bureau. You're going to hear from the bursary, the presidents of the Mona Association for Postgraduate Students, a little bit from the Health Center. You are going to hear from about how to get your health card. Then on the administrative side, you're going to hear from our assistant registrar or for graduate studies and research, our deputy campus registrar, our director of student services, and our special guest this afternoon is the PVC for graduate studies and research, Professor Henry Lee. And nobody else in the UWI Mona system works harder than Professor Henry Lee to make sure that graduate students have a good time and spend their time getting the best degree possible than to spend time navigating administrative processes. So now I'm going to invite Mr. Jonathan Archie, who is representing the campus registrar, Dr. Donovan Stanberry, to bring greetings. Now, Jonathan is responsible for student matters on the campus, including the Office of Graduate Studies and Research. Mr. Archie.
Thank you so much, Professor Roy. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to our new students to the UWI Mona campus. Let me start by recognizing my many colleagues online, especially PVC Henry Lee, Professor Henry Lee, and my other colleagues who have taken the time to join us here this evening. But this evening is really about our new graduate students. I welcome our 1,000 plus new graduate students. As a campus, we try every year to grow our graduate student enrollment, and we are making good progress in that regard. And so this year, we look forward to the hundreds, thousands, over 1,000 graduate students joining us. From the Office of the Campus Registrar, in addition to welcoming you, we want to encourage you to make the most of your time here at the UWI Mona. As I said when I spoke at the Western Jamaica campus orientation earlier this week, I am confident joining the Mona campus, you are in the right place. Many of you would have been students here at the UWI, most actually at the UWI Mona specifically. So you are aware of the efforts made by the campus to support our students. As graduate students and those of you who are research students, you will be exposed to another side of the campus. You will encounter a different level of research. You will interact with your professors in a different way. You will grow as researchers and as postgraduate students. I can share with you that my time here at UWI Mona as a graduate student was one of the most fulfilling times I've ever had while studying. You will make friends who become lifetime colleagues who you will bounce business ventures off of and different research projects. So as I said, make use of the time here during your postgraduate studies. That you are here with us, and we look forward to supporting you and for the interactions over the next few years. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Archie. I also want to indicate that this is our general orientation. So tomorrow you will have faculty-specific orientation where you will discuss your particular program of studies. They will help you to advise you about which courses you're going to register for. Okay. We also have online faculty members. These include our associate deans for graduate studies and research. It includes program coordinators. We also have the staff from the Office of Graduate Studies and Research. So if you have any questions, you can quickly place them in the chat, and there is a team there that will help to answer those questions. I am going to ask Mr. Jason McKenzie, who is the director for the Office of Student Services and Development. It says Student Services and Development. So this is the non-academic side of UWI. So Mr. McKenzie is the gentleman who is going to help you expand your world. So if you need to learn to paint, maybe Jason will have a program for that. Maybe there are many different activities that you can get involved in that you always wanted to try. So this is the non-academic side of the UWI. So Mr. McKenzie, say hello to our new graduate students. And just to say, Mr. Archie mentioned thousands. PVC, this year, we have a record number, 1,400 graduate students that have accepted our offer. And that is a record, at least for the 5 years that I've been checking. So congratulations, everybody. You're in the right place, as Mr. Archie said.
Thank you so kindly, Professor Roy, our chair and director of the Office of Graduate Studies and Research, Mr. Jonathan Archie, our Deputy Campus Registrar, as also Professor Aldrich Henry Lee, PVC for Graduate Studies, Miss Georgia Bennett, our Senior Assistant Registrar, other colleagues present here with us this afternoon, and most importantly, the newest members of our graduate students community. A very warm Mona welcome to each and every one of you. Yes, there are some of you who would have studied at Mona before, others new to the university, some new to the campus. Whatever category you fall in, welcome to the Mona campus of the University of the West Indies. And you are, indeed prepared and ready for the ride of your lifetime. We are happy that you chose us for your graduate studies, and we commit to ensure that you have an excellent experience while you're with us here on the campus. Many of you will be digging into research opportunities, and others will be doing taught master's course, whatever category you're in. We want to ensure that you continue to have a good experience if you have been here before with us, and if you're new to us, that you will have an excellent experience at the Mona campus of the University of the West Indies. We have no doubt that you will expand your minds as you navigate your graduate experience. But for us, learning just does not happen inside the classroom, but beyond the classroom as well. And so I come to you from the Office of Student Services and Development, the space that has responsibility for your beyond the classroom learning experiences. And we want to ensure that the graduates of the UWI are fully rounded persons who are not just bright academically, but persons who can serve as global citizens, contributing in various ways to the developmental agenda of the region and the wider world. And so we provide a range of opportunities for students to grow, to develop, and to thrive. And we want for you as our graduate students to be a part of same. Many of you would have been through our leadership programs. Many of you who came to Mona before would have experienced us being in the field, delivering on social responsibility, on our social responsibility. But there are many more opportunities for you to serve as grad students, because it is in serving others that you will grow. It is in serving others that you will develop. So we encourage you, grad students, to serve as mentors. And there may be those of you who believe that you can benefit from mentorship as well. Then we invite you to enroll in our mentorship program so that we can align you to people in your field with whom you'll be able to make connections, create networks. As you seek to grow your network, as you seek to expand your knowledge, as you seek to create important partnerships that will serve you for the now and the beyond. Leadership development is a critical part of what we do. And so if you want to hone your leadership skills, then become a part of our leadership programs so that we can engage in matters of ethical leadership and other forms of transformational leadership, so that you can just take the next step. We can add value to that which you already have. You know, we have a graduate facility that is really geared to a graduate housing facility that's geared towards our students in grad school. And so if you are desirous of living on campus, that's a space that you want to explore for living as well. But if you're coming from rural Jamaica and you want a near campus opportunity, a space to live, then through our lodgings office will help you find a space where you can live as well. I say, graduate students, that this is an important period of your lifetime, a period of innovation, a period of discovery, where you will just explore beyond that which you are exposed to in the classroom, but that you will make use of all the support systems that are available to you, the range of areas for exploration, for growth, for discovery, for thriving, as offered through the Office of Student Service and Development. We want to help you to succeed. We want to help you to achieve. And so, yes, you come with this aspiration, this dream, this desire to excel and to do well. But we have a team of professionals, both through our lecturers or administrators or student services professionals and others, who will help you along the way to achieve the objectives that you have set and even exceed those. So welcome to the campus. We look forward to working with you. We look forward to you meeting your goals. We look forward to your completing your program of study within the timelines that you have set. And rest assured that there is a campus community that is here, ready to help you to do that. All we ask of you is to tap into that which is available to you, so that success will be yours. Welcome to UWI Mona. We look forward to a wonderful teaching and learning experience with you as you grow, as you develop, as you thrive in this very dynamic community. Blessings.
Blessing indeed, Mr. Mackenzie. Thank you so much. We appreciate your guardianship of our graduate students and our undergraduate students too. So we move on to our next person to bring greetings is Miss Georgia Bennett, and Miss Bennett is the Assistant Registrar in the Office of Graduate Studies and Research. And really, nothing happens in the Office for Graduate Studies and Research unless Miss Bennett and I consult. I don't think I could do this job without her. Even at 4:30, when we were just ready to get on, I was in her office trying to resolve an issue. So she really is a tower of strength for our graduate students and frankly for myself. So I really appreciate that. Georgia, thank you for your years of service to our graduate students. Ms. Bennett.
Thank you, Prof. Roy. Good evening, everyone, and all protocols observed. It is an honor to welcome you, our new graduate students, to the University of the West Indies. Today marks the beginning of a transformative journey, your next important step toward personal growth, scholarly achievement, and professional development. The Office of Graduate Studies and Research is dedicated to supporting you every step of the way. Please feel free to reach out with any questions or concerns you may have. Our team is here to assist you in any way we can. This orientation session has been specially designed to help you transition smoothly into graduate school, and we encourage you to participate. Congratulations once again. Best wishes as you embark on this impactful journey. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bennett, your Assistant Registrar for Graduate Studies and Research. That we are the team that you're going to come to when you have administrative issues, so we can clear that path, so you can spend your time on important stuff like passing your exams and doing great and just propelling your life forward. The theme for this evening, your graduate degree, taking the next step in a transformative journey. And I know about that. It happened to me. One of the best decisions I've ever made is to do a PhD. And my son also did his MSc here. And yeah, PVC, when he finished his MSc and he got a new job, he doubled his salary. Cha-ching, that's a win. That's UWI for you. So we know how important it is, and we know the impact that a graduate degree can have on your life and career. We're going to move into the second part of our program, and these are our motivational speakers. And we're going to start with the PVC, and she's going to bring an inspirational message. But I'm also impressed with two young men that you're going to hear from, Javion and Nephron. And I can tell you, it's the first time that I have seen in the 14 years that we're doing. I think it's 2014. In the 14 years that we're doing graduate orientation in this way, that I've seen two gentlemen presenting motivational speaking, just talking about their student reflection. So I'm very impressed, gentlemen. So I think we have an introduction for the PVC, but before that introduction starts. So the PVC is a PVC for Graduate Studies and Research, the Pro-Vice Chancellor for Graduate Studies and Research across the UWI system. So she's responsible for the graduate portfolio across all of the UWI campuses. And as you can imagine, that's an awesome task. But Professor Henry Lee has taken the time to come here every year just to have a little conversation with our graduate students, our new graduate students. During the year, she might have a town hall. Then we also have a One UE graduate conference. She's very important in helping to find solution to whatever problems we have on the Mona campus and across the other campuses. So we really have become great friends and talk practically every day to solve problems for our graduate students. So I think we're going to present an introductory video for the PVC before the PVC makes her presentation. Ishmael, do we have the introductory video ready?
It's okay. I think you introduced me quite well, Director. So if the video is giving problem, that's fine.
Okay, so maybe we'll do it later. Yes,
Yes.
PVC, please.
Yes.
Thank you for your service, ma'am.
Thank you.
you for your service to our UWI.
Okay, so good evening, Prof. Roy, Director, Graduate Studies and Research, Mr. Jonathan Archie, Deputy Campus Registrar, all our other UWI colleagues, members of faculty and staff, family members, friends of the University of the West Indies, ladies and gentlemen. A very special welcome to all postgraduate students. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to the University of the West Indies, especially to our postgraduate community. Today marks the beginning of a very important new chapter in your academic and professional journey. You have made a significant decision to invest in yourselves, to deepen your knowledge, to sharpen your skills, and to position yourself to make a greater contribution to our communities, the Caribbean region, and the wider world. I congratulate each and every one of you on taking this step. You are one of our over 10,000 students enrolled in our 900 postgraduate programs. You were specially chosen to pursue postgraduate studies. You are joining the UWI at a significant moment in our history. This year, the School for Graduate Studies and Research celebrates its 30th anniversary under the theme 30 Years of Excellence in Graduate Studies and Research, Advancing Caribbean and Global Development. For the past decades, 3 decades, that school has helped to nurture generations of scholars, researchers, innovators, and professionals. Our postgraduate students have contributed to governments, to universities, to businesses, to international organizations, to civil society and communities throughout the Caribbean and across the world. They have conducted research that has informed policy, transformed institutions, and the theme today is Transform Nation. And yes, we have transformed institutions, addressed social and economic challenges, advanced significant scientific discovery, and improved lives. There are many events that we'll be hosting in celebration of the 30th anniversary, and one of them is the 4th Annual Postgraduate Students Conference to be held online November 18th to 20th. For more information, please visit our website, uwi.edu/SGR. We are also aware that we need more scholarships for our postgraduate students. So consequently, one of our 30th anniversary events is a fundraising gala on December 7th at the Pegasus, Jamaica Pegasus, and all proceeds will go to you, our postgraduate students. Ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate this milestone, we are not simply looking backward. We are also looking forward to the next 30 years, and new students are an important part of that future. Graduate education is one of the most important investments you can make in yourselves. But graduate education should be more than much more than obtaining another credential. It is an opportunity to transform the way you think. You will learn to ask better questions. You will learn to interrogate assumptions, evaluate evidence, analyze complex problems, and develop solutions. You will encounter ideas that challenge you. At times, you may even have to reconsider things that you once believed to be unquestionably true. That is part of intellectual growth. Whether you are pursuing a taught master's program, a research degree, a professional doctorate, or PhD, or a postgraduate diploma or certificate, I encourage you to see yourselves not simply as students consuming knowledge, but as emerging creators of knowledge. Ask yourselves throughout your program, what problem can I help to solve? What new knowledge can I contribute? Whose lives might be improved because of my research or professional practice? These questions matter. Your postgraduate journey is more important to the future of the University of the West Indies. Very, very important. The journey won't always be easy. Having been on the same road with you and at the same university with you, I can tell you that there will be some days when you will question your wisdom in pursuing graduate studies. But there is light at the end of the darkest tunnel. Look at me today. I was once in your place, and trust me, I wondered if I was making a fool of myself being a postgraduate student, but there is light at the darkest tunnel. And if I were to turn back the handle of the clock, students, I would again pursue my studies at the University of the West Indies and nowhere else. So let me give you some advice. Always remember the word ACE, A-C-E. I call them accountability, a commitment, and excellence. And let's see what that means. Accountability. First, be accountable. Graduate education requires a level of personal responsibility, quite different from undergraduate studies. Your lecturers, your supervisors cannot want your degree more than you do. Your lecturer cannot manage your time for you. The university will provide guidance, and we have some excellent people online who will continue to support you. We will give you resources, we'll give you opportunities, but ultimately you must take ownership of your academic journey. Be accountable to meeting deadlines. Be accountable to communicating with your supervisors for maintaining the highest standards of academic and research integrity. Be accountable for seeking assistance when you need it, and be accountable for the quality of the work that carries your name. Academic integrity is particularly important in an era of rapidly developing technologies, including generative artificial intelligence. Postgraduate students must understand that technology may assist scholarship, but it can never replace intellectual responsibility. Cite appropriately, protect the integrity of your research, ensure that the work you submit genuinely reflects your scholarship. Your reputation as a scholar begins now. Guard it carefully and know the UWI's policies. You can check uwi.edu/GSR. Please do not say that you never knew about this particular regulation, you never knew about that policy. Ignorance of the UWI's regulations at your stage is no excuse. So let's go to C. Second, demonstrate commitment. As I said before, there will be moments during your postgraduate journey when you wonder what is going on. And there are other moments when the motivation will be high. There may be competing responsibilities at other times. You have your employment, you have your family, you have finances, unexpected circumstances. Research may not proceed as quickly as you had hoped. An article may be rejected. Data may be difficult to obtain. A supervisor, and I'm speaking from experience, may ask for yet another revision of a chapter that you thought was completely finished. This is where commitment becomes essential. Students, you have to stay the course. Success in graduate education is rarely the result of brilliance alone. Very often it is the result of perseverance, of persistence. It is reading when you'd rather stop, revising when you thought the chapter was complete, but your supervisor has found something else to revise, continuing when the results are disappointing. It is asking another question when the first answer proved insufficient. It is showing up consistently. Do not underestimate the power of disciplined persistence. As you commit to your studies, commit to giving back. And Mr. Mackenzie spoke about that earlier. Give back to your communities as much as possible. Assist at a homework center. Give to the elderly. Be a mentor to an undergraduate student. Take part in Give Back Day for postgraduate students on November 21st, 2026. And you will hear more about that very soon. And lastly, excellence. Finally, pursue excellence. Excellence doesn't mean perfection, students. It means refusing to be satisfied with mediocrity when you are capable, and all of you are capable of producing something better. Read widely. Some of us don't like to read, but we need to read widely. Think deeply. Write carefully. Question respectfully. Ask your peers, your lecturers, if you don't understand something, ask, challenge them. So I don't quite really understand what you said in this particular article. I would think of a different perspective. Seek feedback. Engage with scholars beyond your immediate discipline. Take part in the annual PG conference, attend seminars and conferences, make use of that tremendous intellectual community available to you across all 5 UWI campuses. So you can visit a campus to go to a conference. You can join online to listen to a conference on another campus. Trust me, 5 campuses you have exposure to. Build professional networks, develop international collaborations. Do not simply ask, what do I need to pass? And this is from my experience, students come to me. What do I need to pass, to do to pass? I just can't tell me that one chapter, one book that I must read that I will pass everything. There's no one book. You have to read more than one book and you have to read several articles. Ask instead, how can I improve on my last submission? What would excellent work look like? That difference in mindset will transform your postgraduate experience. Build community. I also encourage you not to travel this journey alone. Get to know your fellow postgraduate students. Some of them may eventually become your research collaborators. I have several of my colleagues like Heather Ricketts and others who are now my professional colleagues, and we sat in the same classroom together. And we are now lifelong friends. So get to know your postgraduate students like yourself. Graduate education can sometimes feel very lonely, especially during the research and the thesis writing stages. Build the communities of scholarship around yourselves. Encourage each other, share opportunities, attend each other's presentations, celebrate each other's successes. Remember that somebody else's success does not diminish your own. There is room for all of you to excel. Students, finally, your research should matter. The Caribbean does not have the luxury of research that remains permanently on shelves. We need scholarship that informs policy, research that strengthens communities, innovation that creates opportunities, knowledge that challenges injustice. We are an activist university, remember that. Solutions that make our societies more resilient, whatever your discipline, whether it be the sciences, the social sciences, the humanities, engineering, medicine, law, education, business, or the creative arts. Ask how your expertise can contribute to human development. Your thesis can be impactful. Your ideas can travel and have an impact on all Caribbean, on our entire Caribbean region. So as we commemorate the 30 years of excellence in graduate studies and research, I invite you to recognize something very important. You are no longer merely observers of the UWI's history. You are now participants in it. The achievements that we celebrate today were created by students, researchers, academics, and staff who came before you. The achievements that will be celebrated at our 40th, 50th, and 60th SGSR's anniversary are being created now, perhaps through the research projects that some of you have not yet begun. 30 years from now, another generation of postgraduate students may hear about your discoveries, innovations, and contributions associated with your names. That possibility begins with the choices that you make today. So as you begin this exciting journey, remember ACE, A-C-E, accountability. Take ownership of your postgraduate journey. Commitment. Persevere even when the journey becomes difficult. Excellence. Strive always to produce the work of which you and your university can be proud. You have earned your place at the University of the West Indies, which is among the top 3.6% globally. Now make the most of it. And the University of the West Indies looks forward to seeing what you will achieve. We, your lecturers, your director, your PVC, all members of the administrative and management team stand ready to give you all the support that you need to succeed. Your success is our success. I want each and every one of you to be a UWI champion and ambassador for our next generation of students. May your journey at the UWI be intellectually stimulating, personally transformative, and extraordinarily successful. Welcome to the UWI. Welcome to postgraduate studies. And thank you for choosing to be with us, to accepting our invitation to become members of the next generation of Caribbean scholarship, leadership, and innovation. Thank you, and all the very best.
Professor Audrey Henry Lee is the current Pro-Vice Chancellor, Graduate Studies and Research, the University of the West Indies. A professor of social policy, she was the first female university director of the Sir Arthur Lewis Institute of Social and Economic Studies. A sociologist by profession, she has researched and published extensively on social policy issues affecting small island developing states. Since joining the university in 1995, Professor Henry Lee has researched and published on public policy, poverty, gender, human rights, and childhood. She has conducted research for several notable agencies. These include the Canadian International Development Agency, the Department of International Development, the Caribbean Development Bank, Pan American Health Organization, the United Nations Development Program, the United Nations Children Fund, and the World Bank. She has also been involved in teaching courses in social policy both at the graduate and the undergraduate levels. Among the courses that she has developed are Deviance and Conflict in Social Management, Social Inequality, Inequity and Marginalization, and Social Investment in Children. For the last 18 years, Professor Henry Lee has helped organize the annual Regional Caribbean Child Research Conference, which facilitates equal voice to adult and child researchers. In 2015, the conference produced a policy document with recommendations for the then Prime Minister of Jamaica. Much of Professor Henry Lee's research has influenced the public policy process, and she has served on several committees and boards, including the Advisory Board of the Child Development Agency, now the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, Jamaica. She is currently a director, Heart NSTA Board, a distinguished past president, Kiwanis Club of New Kingston, Jamaica, and a Sunday school teacher at St. Peter and Paul Church, Kingston, Jamaica. Professor Henry Lee is the recipient of several awards. She received the Mona Principal's Distinguished Researcher Award in 2003. In 2010, she won the prestigious UWI Guardian Life Premium Teaching Award. In 2017, she led the team that received the award for the project activity with the most developmental impact in the Faculty of Social Sciences, Mona campus. She was also a member of research teams which won awards for projects with the most funds in the Faculty of Social Sciences, Mona campus for the academic years 2017-2018 and 2022-2023. In recognition of her outstanding work in 2020, Professor Audrey Henry Lee was selected for a Vice Chancellor's Award for all-round excellence.
Wow. I just need to catch my breath.
Thank you. Just to say, I'm
Professor
no
Henry
longer,
Lee,
I'm no
before you
longer a
speak,
member
I did
of
not
the
know that you
board,
were
hard
so
board.
fashionable. They did not say that you're a fashion diva. Did you all
Okay.
see her in all of those pictures? Oh, Audrey, that was amazing.
Thank you. And just to
Every
say, I'm no longer on the hard board in SDA. They have a new board, but it's okay. I was a
Okay.
member. Yes, thanks.
Yeah. Boy, you have done some important work.
And thank you for the video. Excellent.
Yeah, Dr. Michael Holgate, he was one of our graduate students. Now he's director of events at UWI. He put that together for us. So I want to thank Michael for that. That was breathtaking. I will watch it again a few times and play it again a few times, including Fix Up Yourself for the Board for Graduate Studies and Research, because I think there are many people who don't know you that well. I want to repeat some things that you said. Audrey, you said that AI cannot replace intellectual responsibility. I want to repeat that for our graduate students because I know the temptation that AI cannot replace intellectual responsibility. And when we think of excellence, we think that we all can't reach it because it's too much. But you said to us that excellence is refusing to be satisfied with mediocrity. So we must give our best effort. You sound like a mentor, but boy, you sound like a mommy who is advising her children. Thank you very much, Professor Henry Lee.
Most
GV.
welcome.
It
Thank you.
was Miss Bennett's idea to have you as guest speaker. And
Thank
boy,
you,
I'm
Miss Bennett.
telling you, you know, my
Let's
Georgia
ace it
Bennett,
together. Let's ace
your
it.
assistant registrar, quiet in the background, you know, but she's a quiet giant. You know what happened 30 years ago, Professor Henry Lee? I also got my PhD. So the school and I were the same age. Okay. All
Thank
right.
you. So.
Thank you so much. That was amazing, ladies and gentlemen. We ask you to put your questions in the chat. I don't know if anyone, Davinia is monitoring the chat. I don't know if anyone have an important question. Any of our graduate students have an important question for Professor Henry Lee. That was just inspirational. I'm just still catching my breath. That was some really good and useful advice. Davinia, do you see any questions in the chat?
No questions for Prof. Just questions
Okay.
regarding fees for now.
All right, yeah. So we haven't seen Kimberly from the bursary yet, but we expect that she's gonna be there. But our graduate reps and our graduate coordinators and our faculty members are in the chat that can give you specific information about fees. And just to remind our new graduate students that tomorrow, when you have your faculty orientation in the evening, those specific questions about your specific programs and your courses will be answered. This is just providing some tidbit of information and some inspiration for you before you start graduate school. So now we're going to have the 2-student reflection. And we're going to start with Mr. Javian Nelson, and he is a PhD candidate in gender and development studies. So, Javian, and as I said before, it's unusual to have 2 young men giving student reflection in an orientation in an institution where 75% of the students are women, but I think the women are going to be impressed this evening, and I think it will encourage more young men to be with us. Javian.
Hi, thanks, Professor Roy, and afternoon, everyone. It's difficult to, go after Professor Henry Lee. When Miss Bennett reached out asking me if I would provide some reflections, I wondered, why she would put me on the spot like that, asking me, because I don't think I've been the best student, but, having listened to Professor Henry Lee, I think, one of the things that I want to say as a PhD student now is that, I wish I attended orientation when I started my program many, many years ago, because I think this is the kind of advice and, information that would have really helped me to prepare. So as I thought about, sharing some reflections, I felt it would be necessary to just say some things I wish I knew when I was starting out my PhD journey in the Institute for Gender and Development Studies. And for me, I think one of the first things to say is that I did my master's overseas, and as a student, completing bachelor's at UWI, I thought, oh, I would never come to this university again. I hated it, and I went overseas and did my master's, and one of the things that struck me was just how absent there is any kind of information about the Caribbean, whether Jamaica, and stuff like that. And so it really was a little bit disappointing for me. I enjoyed the program. I learned a lot, but I was a little bit disappointed because the scholarship rarely ever and discussions really ever focused on the region which I love so deeply and felt so passionate about in terms of, creating social change, seeing things happening, addressing the issues that are facing our countries right across the Caribbean region. And so I thought it would be really good for me to be here as a student, doing my PhD, researching an issue that I might be passionate about. And of course, engaging faculty who have experience, who've done scholarship, who have an interest in seeing the Caribbean advance into a much better place. And so it really resonated with me when Professor Henry Lee said this is an activist university, because quite a bit of the scholarship is geared towards improving our issues right across the region. Whether you're from Jamaica, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, wherever, the scholarship is a lot about our issues and ensuring that we can advance as a region. So some things I wish I knew when I was starting out. One, read the student handbook for graduate students. It's not like bachelor's. You really need to read because there's a wealth of information there. And so if you don't read, when you start out your program, you start with a dearth of information that you would really, really need to really help you in planning and to do those 3 things that Professor Henry Lee talked about, the accountability, the commitment, and ensuring excellence. And the accountability really will help you in terms of reading the book, reading the student handbook, knowing the deadlines, knowing what you need to submit to which departments, etc. And so the second thing I think really is that as a graduate student, particularly if you're starting out in an MPhil PhD program, you can't treat this like a regular master's program. Taught masters are a little bit different, and so it feels almost like a bachelor's sometimes. But if you're doing a research program, you really need to have a different sense of purpose, a clarity of purpose, and you really have to ensure that you are ready for this. And I think, 1,400 plus students, that's an impressive number. And for those of you who are embarking on the research journey, I wish you all the best in terms of that. And the key thing too, I think, really, from the get-go, set timelines. I didn't set any when I started. I just knew I wanted to do my PhD and I jumped into the program. I knew what I wanted to research, but I didn't have timelines. And, it's only in the last 3-4 years that I've started to do any kind of timeline setting and, goal setting. And that has really, really helped me in being able to do my seminars, to be able to advance to PhD most recently. Then the fourth thing I'd say is that you really have to seek clarity as a graduate student from very early in your journey. You don't want to be someone like me who get a little bit distracted and end up being a little bit longer in the program than you would really, really like, because, as Prof. Roy said, once you're finished, there are lots of opportunities that become open to you, including increased pay, increased responsibilities, etc., at work and in other spaces because of your graduate studies. And so I think it's really important that from very early, you seek clarity as early as possible around the topic you want to research and be intellectually motivated and interested in the topic. Don't just do something, whether you're doing a taught master's, a research master's, or you're going on a PhD journey. Don't just do something because you just want to get this done. Do something that you're passionate about, something that will help to improve communities that you work with, people that you work with, spaces that you're working in, and the country or countries at large or the region overall. And then fifth, I think, for those of us, I think many of us at UWI doing a master's or PhD program or MPhil, we are working. And so I think it's important to acknowledge from very early that there's a difficult balance that you will have to strike in doing the program while working, and importantly, to be able to participate in the student life. I think Prof. Roy and Prof. Henry Lee spoke very deeply and passionately about the importance of making friends and making connections. And I think you have to recognize that this is going to be critical. It's not just about attending class, completing the assignments and stuff. And I know it's difficult because quite often a lot of the programs are smack in the middle of the day, but really try and find time to balance your studies with your work, and importantly, participate in the university programs as best as possible. This is not a small project. This is a huge undertaking. And so you really have to treat it as such. And then just winding down, I think the other thing too is that write papers, get involved, not just in terms of attending events, but write papers, attend conferences, do presentations at seminars, etc. It really helps to improve the academic journey as a master's or PhD student. And you really get to meet people and you get a lot of experience, which prepares you, especially if you're doing a PhD, for your Viva when that time comes. And then seventh, I think it's important to not be daunted by ethics submission. I think that's one of the first things a lot of people talk about, and you hear lots of horror stories about ethics. But I'm here to say, from my experience, having done my ethics submission some time ago, I really had any challenge. I submitted my ethics proposal, and when it came back to me, I was quite very, very surprised by the remarks, because it was just some minor things. At one point, I said to myself, they can obviously see I'm going to use my own money to do my research in terms of the focus group discussions, etc. And so I think it's important to really prepare. As Prof said, you have to read and read widely and read a lot. And just don't read one book. You have to read a lot. A lot of people say that UE ethics is really bad and you can't get your responses and stuff. But I think the better you're prepared and the better you write your ethics submission, the better off you will be. And that was my experience. I didn't have any major comments. It didn't take a long time for them to get back to me. And so I was quite surprised. And that has been my encouragement to people. The other thing is, I think there are lots of horror stories. From the time I was a UE student in bachelor's back in 2004 to 2007, one of the things we'd always hear is that, UE supervisors are horrible. And while that may be the case, it's not just the case at University of the West Indies. Lots of universities, students are always going to have a little bit of challenge with their supervisors. But I think it's important for you to recognize that if you have challenges with your supervisor, the Office of Graduate Studies and your faculty have measures in place to address those challenges. So if you sense a problem from very early, I would strongly recommend that you seek to address it at your faculty level or at this Office of Graduate Student office as early as possible, because the last thing you want to do is to become demotivated and to stop working to the point that you even drop out of the program. And I've heard stories from others who just, were not able to proceed because they felt that there was this huge difference between them and their supervisor. And then lastly, I think it's important to remember and recognize that your studies will impact on your work significantly, sometimes without you even realizing. And, quite often in my work, it's several days or even months later sometimes that I recognize, I'm like, oh, these are some things that we discussed in class or papers I read and how they've contributed to broadening my knowledge and the way in which I work and go about things. So thank you all for listening to me. Thanks, Miss Bennett, for inviting me. And I wish you all the very, very best in your graduate studies.
Thank you so much, Javian. Boy, we're just on a roll this evening. That was some good advice. Start your ethics early, write it well, and you won't have any problems. If you have supervisors problem, please let us know as quickly as you can so we can get those sorted out. And I especially like your studies will impact your work even without you realizing it. Some good advice, sir. Thank you very much. I can't wait to see what you're going to become in the future. Our next reflection is Mr. Nephron Hill, and he is an MSc and Engineering Management, MSc Engineering and Management graduate. So he's a graduate. So Mr. Hill, let's hear your words of inspiration.
Good afternoon, members of the university community, staff, faculty, and of course, our newest graduate students. Welcome to the University of West Indies. I want to begin with a specific question, How many of you are really excited, but also carrying some uncertainty? Well, I mean, the combination is not a warning sign. It's evident that you are standing at the edge of growth. I just want to introduce myself. I am an educator, practicing MEP engineer, project management professional, and managing director of Nevix Partners Limited. Well, more importantly, today, I am a graduate of the Masters in Science in Engineering and Management, specialized in power engineering. The journey will test your habits, trust me, but it can refine your judgment, deepen your discipline, and prepare you to lead. I'm reflecting from the journey, really. I want to look at it as Genesis. How did it all start? How did our journey? And I'm speaking for our cohort at the time. Well, began with a question. How could I combine technical competence with the leadership needed to turn good engineering into good outcomes? Technical knowledge alone was not enough. People must be led, risk managed, budget defended, decisions communicated, and quality verified. So I chose engineering and management to build a bridge from a practitioner to a strategic leader. Before your first major deadline, I want you to answer this very question. Why are you here? Why are you embarking on such a journey? I want you to also write it down and make it specific. Your why must carry you when motivation is weak. Because this journey is not a journey for the weak. You'll have high times, you'll have low times, right? I really want to reflect on the spaces that we spend most of our time while we're completing our studies. The Faculty of Engineering, majority of our time we spend really at the gazebos owned by MSBM, where it became more than just a location. These space where our ideas were challenged and professional relationships became friendships. Graduate education may look like an individual endeavor, but few people really complete it alone. You will need lecturers, classmates, family, and friends to strengthen you. Strength is knowing when to ask, really. Listen, contribute, and let your community help you rise. You need that community on this journey. The people who will sit beside you in classes may become collaborators, as Prof. Emily outlined, partners and lifelong friends. There will become that exodus, right? Where we did a thought program. So it was really 6 semesters. Obviously, it can take far more than that. You have shortcomings and so forth that might set you back. But I have 5 lessons really and truly that really helped us really navigate the journey. And these are the 5 lessons. 1, protect your purpose. Return to the reason you started, always. 2, build a system, not a rescue plan. Some of us will, some of you will actually, on the very same day, whatever assignment task were assigned to you is due, you maybe, the day before that we'll return to the lecture and say, hey, look, boy, I have problems when you have gotten that same instruction like months ago or 3 weeks ago, etc. That can't save you. So you have to build a system on this journey. 3, manage energy as seriously as time. Rest and renewal are part of the strategy, not reward after exhaustion. 4, communicate before the crisis. Ask early, address problems while there is still time to respond. You're investing in your future. So you really and truly, if we are not aliens or robots, etc. So help exists, but you have to communicate And this journey is one of them journey that you must communicate whenever you have issues that will impact the objective. 5, build a community, not a competition. Many of us at the journey, based on my reflection, compete, compete as if it is 1 degree, and if it's not a competition, you won't achieve anything. Please share knowledge, celebrate others, and receive correction without defensiveness. That's very important on a journey like this. You will not complete this journey by being motivated every day. You will complete these semesters by being disciplined on the days when motivation doesn't arrive. Look, the road forward really, as you complete your journey, you are no longer the person who began. You read differently, you really question assumptions and think about stakeholders, risk, cost, quality, and implementation, not only the technical answers. My revelation was that the degree was preparing me for greater responsibilities. It now shapes how I manage projects, lead teams, and evaluate risk. A degree should not only change your resume, it should change your reasoning, standards, and contribute. The Caribbean need professionals who think deeply, act ethically, and solve problems collaboratively. Apply what you learn now. Don't wait until you finish, you start applying what you learn. You will forget a lot of things that you learn on the journey, because it's a lot you will be learning. And as I really close, the next step, remember these 3 letters. You already know. UWI. You understand your why. Yes? Purpose will steady you when the journey becomes demanding. The W, work with discipline. Do the small things consistently. Begin early and act before you are overwhelmed. And finally, I, invest in people. Build relationships on the journey. Give support. Also receive support and protect your integrity. You were not admitted by accident. Trust me, you weren't admitted by accident. When the journey asked more of you than expected, remember, you do not have to see the whole staircase. You only need the courage and discipline to take the next step. 1 reading at a time, 1 class at a time, 1 assignment at a time, and 1 semester at a time. May this journey prepare you not simply to earn a degree, but to become the leader, scholar, and professional our region needs. Welcome to the University of the West Indies and the next chapter of your transformative journey. Really, thank you. So, yeah, man, that's really my contribution to the new graduate study students that is embarking on a new journey,
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. UWI, understand, work. I thought you were going to say I for us, but you said invest. And you can see Professor Henry Lee is very excited. I think she's going to use that one in the future. But Nephron, the thing that stood out to me, strength is knowing when to ask for help. That's incredible, because sometimes we like to struggle alone and we think that makes us stronger, but it's not true. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it. If I have some students who need some motivation and need a little pep talk, I know where I'm going to send them. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Javian, Nefran, PVC. Thank you very much. That was really moving. It's amazing. It's amazing how sometimes, things just come together. So those were our motivational address. So remember, we're asking you if you have questions or concerns, just put them in the chat because we have faculty members and members from the Office of Graduate Studies and Research that can help you to answer those questions. Now we're going to move on to the second hour, which are just some short informational presentations. And you can see that I'm very serious about time. Ladies and gentlemen, when you see me turn on my camera, that means your time is up and you need to wrap up because we are very busy. We know 80% of our graduate students, they work during the day and come to class in the evening or at nights on the weekend. So we know how precious your time is. So we're going to start our informational presentation with a 5-minute address from Miss Antoinette Ricketts, and she is the Mona Association for Postgraduate Students rep. So Antoinette, she's going to talk about the role of MAPS and the services of the Guild of Students. Antoinette.
Thank you very much. I must say good evening and congratulations to our incoming graduate students. My name is Antoinette Ricketts. I'm a second-year master's student in the Department of Government, specifically doing a Master's of Science in International Public and Development Management. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about MAPS. So the Mona Association of Postgraduate Students, it is the representative body for postgraduate students across the Mona campus, so including students pursuing a Master of Science, MBAs, MPhil, PhDs, or other doctoral programs. So MAPS, it is not just an association, it is the collective voice of postgraduate students advocating for students' academic, professional, financial, and personal development. So if you have any queries or you need assistance with anything, you can feel free to reach out. So with MAPS, as I said, we're not just an association, we do provide support for our postgraduate students. So we have a few initiatives for this academic year, both at the professional development, financial assistance, and just, personal time. So our initiatives for the upcoming year. So as we look ahead, our focus is on creating opportunities that support postgraduate students academically, professionally, financially, and socially. So one of the initiatives that we have upcoming is our fitness compass. And when you hear fitness compass, a little yoga exercise, a little running, a little walking. So the fitness compass, we want to do it like a 5K run, nothing big, just a small 5K run on the UWI Mona campus. So we're looking to bring it to life through the MAPS 5K experience on the UWI Mona campus. So the goal is not only to promote physical activity and wellness, but it is also an opportunity for postgraduate students to connect with each other outside of the classroom. So following the 5K, after we finish the 5K, students, I would create a little space for students to just come, enjoy some light refreshment, mingle, and build meaningful connection with each other. Build meaningful connection with each other, because as we know, postgraduate life, it should not only be about assignments, research, or meeting deadlines, but it should also be a community balance and where we can form connection with each other. So we also have the postgraduate financial assistance. So we also recognize that postgraduate education comes with significant financial responsibilities. So through our postgraduate financial assistance program, we will continue to provide financial support to postgraduate students, So this initiative is aimed at easing some of the financial pressures students may face and ensuring that financial challenges do not become an unnecessary barrier to academic progress. So that's something that you can look out for. We do it 2 times for the year. So we have the first one rolling out in November, and then the second one would be in February of next year. So the final thing that we also have is the annual postgraduate mingle. So our annual corporate mingle creates a direct bridge between postgraduate students and the professional world. So through this event, we would invite corporate partners, organization, and other key stakeholders to come and engage directly with our students. So this gives students an opportunity to network, showcase their skills and qualifications, and potentially access opportunities such as employment, internship, mentorship, and professional partnership. With this now, the goal is to move beyond simply networking and to create connections that can lead to real opportunities. So that's the end of year mingle, which is slated for April 9, 2027. And finally, we are looking to establish a postgraduate opportunity hub through strategic partnerships with organization and industry stakeholders. The vision is to develop a network of partners that can connect directly with students. So when relevant opportunities become available, our students or postgraduate students would get first and pick for interviews or employment. So the initiative is about creating stronger pipeline between postgraduate students and professional opportunities available beyond the university space. So our goal at MAPS is simply to ensure that students are not only earning qualifications, but are also gaining access to the connections, resources, support, and opportunities needed to take the next step in their academic and professional journey. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Antoinette, I like the postgrad opportunity hub. I think that's an excellent idea. Let us at the Office for Graduate Studies and Research help you with that one, and the 5K too. We have to
Yes,
keep
definitely.
moving. Yeah. Thank you so much. Remember that MAPS is your advocate on the guild and on the campus. So if you need some assistance, you can also reach out to them, and similar to the Office of Graduate Studies and Research. Ladies and gentlemen, our next presenter, Ms. Shanique Dillian, is the representative from our Employee Success Division, and she's going to tell you a little bit about your health card, because most of our students do not collect their health card. Shanique, please.
Thank you, Prof. Roy. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, students. First, I want to welcome you all to the UE for the very new students. And I want to congratulate you on this new step in your academic career. And I am here to briefly, I don't want Prof. Roy to come and give me a warning on the screen. I'm here to briefly speak to you about an important benefit that is available to you here as a student at UWI and the role of the Employee Success Division as it relates to that. So as you begin this exciting new chapter as graduate students, there are many things that you will be thinking about. You have your courses to think about, you have research, you have assignments, and some of you are working, and so you're adjusting to the work and student life. So however, one thing that we tend to overlook is our health and well-being. And so as I said before, I want to just spend a few minutes introducing to you an important benefit that is available to you as UE student and the role of the Employee Success Division. And so the first thing persons may ask, everybody should know, what is a health card? Or the health insurance is an important benefit afforded to you as students of the University of the West Indies. And so you will have access to this card once you have paid your miscellaneous fee. You receive the health card, and this will provide you with access to the benefits on the health plan. And what are some benefits of this insurance, health insurance? Students may sometimes postpone healthcare because of the cost or the uncertainty about where you will get help. And so your health card will help to provide will help with that uncertainty, as it helps to reduce out-of-pocket healthcare expense. As with all health plans, there are limitations. So even though you have a health card, it does not necessarily mean that every healthcare expense is fully covered. And therefore, we encourage you to ensure that you verify your coverage before receiving services, particularly for expensive or specialized service, to avoid any unexpected expected costs, sorry. The health cards can be used at the University Health Center here on campus and any approved provider island-wide. If your health card gets lost, stolen, or damaged, it is important that you report this issue and apply for a replacement as soon as possible. Usually for replacement, there is a cost of $500, and the turnaround time is approximately 2 weeks for you to get that replacement card. And so you would be required to complete a form that will be provided by the ESD or Sagicor, which will be your new health service provider. Sagicor has an online platform called Sagicor Connect. You can sign up on that platform and request your replacement. And so now I want to speak with you briefly about the Employee Success Division role. So we play an important role in supporting students with health insurance benefits. So our role is not only to distribute the health cards, but also to ensure that students understand how to access and utilize the benefits available to them. So we do facilitate the distribution of the health cards to eligible students. Students, we encourage you to collect your health card as soon as you are notified that they are available to you. We encourage you to keep them safe and have them readily available for when you need them. Please do not wait until you are ill, or if something happens, or if you have an emergency, to try to collect your health card. Sometimes there are issues with the cards, meaning maybe you collect your health card, your date of birth is incorrect, your gender may be incorrect, and then when you try to utilize your health card, there may be issues in accessing the benefits, and then now you will have to come back to Employee Success Division for us to reach out to the health service provider to have those issues fixed before you can access or use your health card. So we encourage you, do not wait until the appointed time to come in and collect your health card. As soon as you're made aware that your health card is available, please come and collect them. So we also help with student inquiries. You may have questions about your coverage, general questions about the health cards, your claims, or access to the health services. So we serve as a point of contact to respond to these inquiries and provide guidance or direct you to the appropriate resource where necessary. We are the liaison officer with the health insurance provider. So we work closely with them, and where you have an issue that requires the provider's intervention or clarification, we will communicate those issues to them and have the issues rectified on your behalf. And finally, where students, where you are experiencing difficulty with your benefits, as I said, we would assist in identifying those issues. And so the matters that cannot be resolved at our level, sometimes the issue lies with maybe something that needs to be changed by admissions. So we would communicate with the departments. If it is something that needs to be rectified by bursary, we will communicate with them as well. And if it is an issue with the insurance provider, as I had mentioned before, we would escalate it to them and to have your issues rectified. And that sums up my presentation. And I'll be here to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you for listening, and thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Shanique. So where can the students collect their health cards?
Okay, so currently the health cards are not yet available for collection, but we usually distribute the health cards within the employee success division. Because we're changing providers for this year, it is going to be a whole new rollout. And so we will make arrangements for those to be collected. So we usually set up under either the undercraft or in the assembly hall. So whichever we decide on, we will notify the students where they can actually pick up their health cards.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And just know that whenever the cards are ready, you can just touch base with us, because we have an email for all our graduate students, so we can just send that information to them. So if it comes from you and it comes from Employee Success Division and it comes from us, then they're more likely to hear the message. But we want them to collect their health cards. Thank you so much.
And thanks for that, Prof. Roy.
You are welcome. Thank you so much. That's important information, because you can't study well and achieve what you need to achieve if you're not healthy. So we encourage you. So we're just going to have a little entertainment, an item from Mr. Axia Livingston, who is a BSc Sport Kinetics candidate. Axia. And then we'll hear from the Health Center and Student Loan Bureau and Bursary. So stay tuned. These are important information for you to have. Axia?
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Is everyone hearing me?
We're hearing you and we're seeing you.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. So my name is Askia Livingston, ASKIA. And I'm just here to, one, congratulate everyone here, all you graduates, you know, you made it this far. And I'm just here to uplift the vibe, push some good energy in the atmosphere, because you need it. And all the best in your future endeavors. Whoa, 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 whoa. If you can rock to the side, rock to the side. Long time. We know I've no nice time. Do you think about that? Long time. We don't have no nice time. Do you think about that? This is my heart to rock you steady. I'll give you love anytime you're ready. This little heart in me just won't let me be. I'm gonna rock you now. Won't you rock with me? Long, long, long time. We no have no nice time. Do you think about that? Long, 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 long time. You know have no nice time. Do you think about that? When last you have a nice time? Tell me when last you have a nice time? Whoa, have some fun time with me. Hey, this is my heart to rock you steady. I'll give you love anytime you're ready. This little heart in me just won't let me be. I'm gonna rock you now. Won't you rock with me? Long, 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 long time. We no have no nice time. Do you think about that? Long, 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 long time. You know have a nice time. Do you think about that? Think about rock to the left, rock to the right, cause everybody feel alright. Rock to the left, rock to the right now. Think about that. Singing reggae music loud and clear in your ear. They can keep a good graduate down. Always keep a smile when they want you to frown. Keep the vibes and you stood your ground. They will never ever take your crown. Uja bless, I say no man curse. Things getting better when they talk, it could be worse. Campus police say them asking for a search. They found no weapon, just only first class honors. Cause you're so solid as a rock, they just can't stop you now. Oh, people will set up their traps, they just can't stop you now. Yeah, people will say this and that, they just can't stop you now. Oh, even when they set up roadblocks, they just can't stop you now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can you say the name again? Did I get it right? Askia? Askia?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, thank you.
So if you can sing like that, what you doing with sports kinetics? I don't understand you, you know. I knew the first song, but I never know the second one. The first one is a classic for people like Miss Bennett and for PVC and I. Yeah, we know long
It's for
time.
everybody. It's for everybody.
No, that was before your time, man. All right, so we have some important information to share with you. And the director of the University Health Center, Dr. Tina Hilton Kang, is going to give you an overview of the health services at the health center. Tina.
Oh, sorry. Hi, I'm unable to share. You have to enable me to share if I have a PowerPoint, but I can speak if I don't not to share.
Ishmael, can you allow Dr. Hilton Kang to share?
All right. In the meantime, I'll just go ahead while.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So good evening, all, and welcome to our new postgrad students, whether you were previously at UWI or not, or whether you're previously from the Mona campus or not. Welcome, and thanks to the Graduate Studies Research for allowing me to have a say here in your program. Okay, and are you hearing me okay?
Yeah, we're hearing you okay.
All right. Okay, so we have a role to play in your success, and we try our very best to do so. I see that you have very good advice from Javon and forgot his name, but Mr. Nevik's project manager. Okay, and it's really good. And then you have support in terms of MAPS, and that MAPS also is looking at wellness. And I hear some yoga and I hear some 5K. So I'm very happy about that aspect of it. And it really is important to note that, you know, our health and wellness is really collaboratory, just like your postgrad work studies and research and so on, is really to have that kind of collaborative outlook, and it's partnerships being built. We can't do it alone, you can't do it alone. And just to remind you that, you know, your wellness comprises of different spheres. It's your physical wellness, it's your psychological or mental wellness, it's your economic wellness. We know sometimes that part causes the psychological wellness to get worn, and it's our environmental wellness. And these days, with smoke all around and heat and so on, that's very, very important. And of course, your social welfare is also, and social life is also a very important part of your wellness. And so it's good that you have support in the MAPS. You have support from the faculty, from the Office of Graduate Studies and so on. They're keenly looking out for those. I know that I've had, you know, calls or email to ask about, you know, services for student and so on, or, you know, they want a little caution what to advise about student and so on. So I know they have your back. So just to and I think the others have already said it too. You know, your wellness is very dependent on you taking time out to, let me say, first of all, just to breathe. It sounds almost, breathing is a reflex, but sometimes we need to take that time out to do that mindful breathing. My fellow colleagues at the University Counseling and Center and Counseling and Psychiatry Center, which is part of the University Health Services, they have taught me, I've certainly appreciated that, the breathing, you know, just 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold it, 4 seconds out, 4 seconds hold it. And you can go up. If you want to do 6 seconds each time, 8 seconds. So we don't want you to get blue. So we don't want you to stay, you know, to hold your breath that long. It's just a pause, and a mindful pause, so that you are able to think clearer, or, you know, just pause to react, you know, to respond rather than reacting sometimes. And I find it very, very useful. I have to do it several times sometimes for the day. So, you know, that breathing, and also I put it to remind us about that our air, what we breathe, is very important. So we need to try to be advocates of clean air. Eating, we all know that we are not so great with that. And sometimes being a graduate, doing several things, you have family life, you have family to take care of, all of that. Sometimes, especially the women, you know, we take backstage where that is concerned. But it's so important for nutrition and to have that proper kind of serving of the different components for the food group types and so on. I know we stray a lot from that. Most of our box lunch, as we would say, is comprised of starches, when really and truly half of our lunch should be vegetables and fruits. I know. And everybody's going to tell me the cost and everything, but we must always try to remember and see our best to get to that point. All right, cut down the sugars and cut down the salt. Hydrate, very important in this time too, and especially when you're studying. And you know, you may be out on your field with your research and so on. Very important that you prepare yourself. Noise pollution in the background. I'm sorry, I have this truck that continues to do those things despite our complaints. Exercising, I was pleased to hear the MAPS is, you know, also encouraging that. So please remember, exercise is supposed to be an important part of your schedule. It don't have to be any gym necessarily. It can be a 5-minute stretch and, you know, bend and lift 2 little weights, or it can be a dance like that fellow that was just entertaining us with his singing without music. Wonderful. Even that is also a way of relaxing and so on. But you may also add some music to that and dance to to get some of the exercise into it. Just try to always have some exercise within your programs. It's going to help you to sleep better. It's going to help you to think better. It's going to help you in a lot of different things. Speaking of sleep, very, very important. We need to make sure we sleep. And that's the first thing we're going to cut off, because we say we have to study, because we have to get up early to do what and so on. So it's very challenging to, especially even to traverse for school or, the areas because of traffic and so on. So we really need to, factor in that we want to get at least 6 to 8 hours sleep most nights or every night. It is that deep sleep, the REM sleep, that actually gets your body to repair itself, that cuts down all of this oxidative stress and all of that. So it is for health, and it's also for your functioning and, at your best. So sleep is important. And of course, our social life choice is very, very important, that we think sometimes we don't always do what we know we should do, but, don't beat yourself. You try to do what you know is right, so that you can cut down some of the added stress you may cause on yourself. And so coming back to that self, we just want you to take that time to rest, take the time to adjust. It's not undergrad, it's postgrad. It comes with lots of other responsibilities. You're often doing this while you have your job, while you have a full, home life to manage and all of that. So as someone had said to, managing your time is going to be really, really important from the outset as much as possible. Don't wait to the last moment. And just taking time to cope. And at times, life happens while you're doing your postgrad. Sometimes illnesses occur. Sometimes, some setbacks occur. Just take some time to heal, whether it's a physical healing or a mental healing. Just take that time. And I have found, as this clinical director, I've found there's still such a lot of stigma to mental health, and I want to just mash down that lie and encourage people to seek health care, not just physical, but also mental. And not, if it is that you have a mental health issue, it's just like a medical issue. You can be sorted, you'd have to take the steps and so on. I've seen too many parents and otherwise, don't seek the mental health, or actually stop them, discontinue the mental health care because of, their beliefs and also the stigma. We really need to move past that. And I hope everybody know where the health center is. If you come by the post office gate, head straight up. Before you reach Irving Gate, we're on your left-hand side, right across from where you get some of your food, social welfare canteen. Okay, hopefully you can get more nutritious foods too. And I know that the campus is trying very best to ensure that our food operating endeavors are actually nutritious meals. So the health center, we can be reached by internal extensions, and we can also be reached by email. The email has changed with the new UE email. So now we are Mona Council, or Mona Health Serves, HEALTHSERV as in Van S. There's no other E in it, only one E, at theue.edu. Okay. And you can ask questions there. You probably could also try to make appointments there if you can't get us on the phone or come in. And that's also the email that you would send any medical certificate or medical report and so on. All right. Speaking of that, if you are ill or you want to get a check, as I forgot her name too, person representing from the ESD, is that you get a health card. You can come there without a health card. You will just have to pay our fee, and our fee for staff is 3,000 is our healthcare fee. For students with the health card, it's free, and for staff, it's free with the health card for most procedures and examination. But so we encourage you to come with your ID and your card, so that it will be faster for you in terms of getting through more readily. We probably would have had a medical file from you, either from before undergraduate, or whether as a staff, or whether if there was an application medical, we would probably have a file for you. And so we always try to have them as one file. So if the person was a student and now a staff, we would put them in one file and so on, so that we have a continuity of the information. So you are free with your health card to access other places. You can access your private doctor. You can go to a hospital if it's urgent and needed. And so your health card is going to be very useful. So please collect it when it's available. There are far too many uncollected health cards, I find.
Indeed.
What do we offer at the health center? You can have, there's a doctor. We have 3 doctors usually, but of course at times some are on leave. One at the moment we actually have 2 persons on leave, one on a longer study leave and one short vacation leave. And I'm trying my very best to have part-time doctors so that we can always have at least 2 doctors available to try to manage the crowd. I'm going to tell you, it may be a waiting time, and especially at this time when it's orientation and at the time when it's nearer to exams. So October, November is kind of a heavy time, and say March, April can be heavy. Or most students are our most clients that are the largest number of clients, and mostly we have is female students, but we encourage our male students to get checks too, and to be seen if as needed. We also have a dental clinic, and your miscellaneous fee allows you to get free dental cleaning every 6 months. Twice for the year, you can get a dental cleaning free based on your miscellaneous fee, but we also offer fill-ins and other things, pain management and so on at the dental clinic. So there are other things that may be free, and otherwise it would be your health insurance that you use. The pharmacy I boast about our pharmacy because it is for open to everyone, not just staff, students, or so on. Yeah, and I don't think you'll ever find somewhere that the markup is lower than ours. And I say that because we really try to help to provide. We know the constraints and so on. We're looking forward to a nice pharmacy where you can walk in, and then because we also have the over-the-counter things, and we know that that's also very important. People come for their vitamins and bandage and stuff like that. So we look forward to that day one day. And we have the private lab, microlabs, is there on a Tuesday and a Friday, on a Thursday. So you can have your test done, even if it's a form from your private doctor. The convenience of doing it here, it will go to your private doctor. So you can it's a collection site. You don't have to be a patient here to use that lab. Right, I think, and of course we have vaccinations as needed. On a smaller scale, we have a once a week vaccination clinic, and we offer the HPV vaccine. We try to get vaccines from the health department, so there will be a subsidy, but when they don't have, or when they don't stock those, we purchase so that you can then get them at cost price and a little admin fee. So they can get the chickenpox vaccine, the HPV vaccine, and the others that are needed, a measles booster and so on. If you have to travel, please consider making sure that you're up to date as it relates to your vaccinations. And just to say that we are constrained with staff, and especially our mental health, because the scope of work is really quite large, and it's different. And I want to say that I'm quite proud of my mental health team in that they're always trying to find different ways and means to help to answer or to serve as it relates to mental health. So we're not just following typical kind of, for want of a better word, colonial approaches. We're trying many other approaches, the use of poetry, dance, art. We are probably the only one that have an art therapist, and she's part of our counseling team, Mrs. Bell Navis Elliott. And art therapy don't mean, start to paint and so on. It's real using art for therapy. And so explore that when you get a chance. And we have some groups, like group therapy sort of thing, with blank canvas and chilling. One is more about behavioral therapy. And so there is also a 24-hour line, a student counseling line called UE Helps, and that number is usually around. But if you go on the website, you will see it as well. But I am well, I won't say it now because you probably won't even remember. But it's UE Helps is actually if you spell UE Helps, that would be the number 2. And we want to say that we work with Ministry of Health and so on in terms of promoting those. So there are other sites that the Ministry of Health have. You Matter. Also another collaborative partner is the UE Chaplains Service. So the chaplain's office is right next to Jamaica National, and I'm sure if anyone needs, they can they can call them or they can go there. They are very instrumental at times in helping us with the grief counseling and others. Aspects. They can also help in that regard, both for staff and students. So if I would like to say, I think somebody mentioned it too, don't wait. If you have a problem, try to seek it. And I'm also going to apply that for illness. Or if you perceive you have a problem, please try to seek help as early as possible, whether it's physical, whether it's mental. And yes, we're short-staffed, and yes, we may not be able to see non-urgent, but we would say pop in, we'll let you know, and we can refer if needed, or if we can see you, we will. So I think, and on that note too, I find that our graduate students, particularly, unfortunately, sometimes, want of a better word, kind of tough it out too much. And so they come to us at a later stage, or, when it's really, really problematic. The health center is not an excuse producer, okay? Not a medical excuse producer. I guard that reputation very well. There are some public entities that after a while they would say you cannot get a sick certificate unless you go to a particular thing. I don't really want that to be, I never want to have that reputation that the health center gives out excuses. So we do look at these, and we're not trying to be, we try to support the student, because illness happens, life happens, and a lot of things can be happening, and we are trying to help in that regard. But we can help when you come forward, and come forward early enough, okay? We cannot do anything if you're ill and took the exam and had a problem during that time, in terms of because of the illness you did the exam but you didn't perform your best. I can't do anything about that you will talk with your department, and we can't. We can advise, say you're ill before before exam time, you come to us, or you go to your doctor. We can provide medical exemption based on the condition. And certainly, and sometimes we would encourage you to come to the health center, because I'm going to tell you, it's far easier. It's a less stressful process, and easier process if you are having a problem related to exam or your core, your research, or so, your paper, whatever. You come and be seen there. I do recommend you see your private practitioners, and so that's fine, but make sure you get the proper certification. We need your medical report. Yes, you can give a sick leave or a medical certificate, as some people call it. You send that to your advisor and so on. You do not have to, and we don't recommend you disclose your diagnosis. That's your medical personal information that goes to the doctor you're seeking, or the clinical director, myself, okay? So you can say you had an illness or you had something, but you don't have to disclose. I've seen too much detailed medical reports going in between, and everybody, that's view. That's not to be. That's a very private information, and we hold your confidentiality, the confidentiality of your records, very very keenly. So I also would like to stress, based on the experience that I've had, completion of those forms. So if it is that you were ill, or saw someone and needed to get a medical exemption, please complete those forms as early as possible. this university regulations actually state that should reach the health desk within 7 days. I was representing earlier today, and I said, I don't know if that 7 days is like God 7 days, what some people say is not necessarily days and could be years, because I've actually seen people present this form, completing it for the first time 2 years after the fact. So please, as early as possible and complete it. I prefer if you even complete it online in terms of sometimes the handwriting and sometimes the completion of the forms are really not great. So if you can type it in and so on, that would be nice. There is a form at the bottom of the form. These forms are available on the UE website. It's called Medical Certificate Report. And at the bottom of that form, you're to sign to say you're given the permission of your doctor to disclose the information for the medical report. That's part A. And part B has the details that the doctor needs to furnish. Now, sometimes that's the part that gives me the greatest challenge. My fellow colleagues do not know how to complete forms, and oftentimes they're very vague. Migraine is not really a diagnosis. Viral illness is not really a viral. I need more information, especially if it is going to be for exemption of exam and so on. So oftentimes I have to try to call the doctor, and that's not also very easy, and also getting that kind of information. So it's way less complicated if it's possible for them to be seen at the health center. Once I have that file, I see my doctors, what they have stated. I very, very, very rarely disagree with them, because they know that, it's for, we take medical exemption very seriously, okay? And we also have had students who we recommend do not do the exam, you're too ill, and they go ahead and do it. So, but everybody has their choices. And so I think that's what I would want to say. And if there are any questions, I will look forward. Please, all the best in this journey as you navigate your studies. I will also suggest that you navigate your wellness. So pay some attention to your well-being, plan how you're going to manage your workload, beware of burnout. It is very, very, sometimes not so easy to tell, especially we have some, superheroes around the place. I've been trying to clip some of these capes around that I see, especially our women, guilty. And we want you to navigate how you continue to build your resilience. You did it for undergrad, and now you're going to do it for postgrad. Build your resilience and ensure that you have that emotional stability and the support, as they said, from family, others. And again, I say, seek help as early as possible so that you can get the best, outcome. Okay, I thank you.
Thank you very much. That was very comprehensive. And I know that healthcare is so important for our success. So Tina, I gave you, Dr. Hilton Kong, I gave you a little bit of leverage, okay? So
Oh,
thank
sorry.
you so much. I know it's important, okay? So Mona-Health Service without an ESERVS at uii.edu. So have that email so you can contact the health center. And remember to take time to heal, okay? So thank you very much. We appreciate that, and we appreciate your service and your care for our students. We have 2 other conversations, and these are the most important conversations. We have the Student Loan Bureau and the bursary. I have a few questions here from the bursary that is in the chat. So after the bursary has made its presentation, then I will deliver those. So we have from the Student Loan Bureau, Mr. Michael Montague, Jr., and he's Senior Business Development Officer at the Student Loan Bureau. And he's going to tell us how to apply for a loan and eligibility requirement. And we know that these are the 2 most important conversations.
For sure. And good afternoon, everyone, and congratulations on starting this new journey of your life. And I'm quite happy that I went after Dr. Hilton, just because I'm here to help you understand how you can ease the burden and the mental stress of worrying about your finances while you study. Once again, my name is Michael Montague Jr. from the Students Loan Bureau. We have 3 loan products at the Students Loan Bureau, and I'm sure some of you may be familiar with what those are. But for this evening session, we're going to be speaking about postgrad loan. Or postgrad loan, as it says, is for advanced and professional studies. So whether you are completing your master's or you're going on to a doctoral study, we're here to fund that, right? We offer up to $1.8 million Jamaican dollars per program for the entire program. So if your program is 2 years, 18 months, wherever it falls, we offer up to $1.8 million. We offer you 10 years to repay. So I know many persons who may have benefited from student loan before, which even if you have a student loan still, once you're in good standing, you still can benefit from the postgrad loan. They would have been familiar with a 15-year timeline or a 20-year timeline. You can still benefit from a postgrad loan with up to 10 years of repayment. That repayment, in this instance, begins right away. So the very month that you start, September, is the very month that you begin paying, right? Our interest rate is 9.5% per annum, and that is the lowest. I can confidently say is the lowest in the market. In fact, to compare it to another commercial institution, or the next lowest financial institution, they are 12.5%. And somebody told me of an event that they went to yesterday at another financial institution that was only lending a max of 500,000 towards their postgraduate studies, was offering an interest rate of 17%, right? So I can confidently say as well that this is the lowest interest rate that is in the market. Now, there is no guarantor requirement. And I'm happy to say that because I know one of the challenges prior was where students would express that, hey, I need a guarantor and I can't find a guarantor, so I can't continue or I can't pursue the education that I want to. However, the new requirement is that, or well, should I say, we have taken away the requirement for a guarantor, right? Now, for an application, the typical documents are required: the TR and the birth certificate, a passport size photo, valid ID, proof of address, or proof of income. For this loan, I know there are some persons who may be running right out of the undergraduate studies into the postgraduate studies. If you can't take out the application for the postgrad loan on your own, your parent or your financial provider will be able to do that on your behalf. Now, just to break it down into reality, so I just don't sound like I'm talking, but actually reading what the language that you understand. If you were to borrow the $1.8 million from SLB for the 10 years, you're looking to pay a monthly payment of $27,243. So let's say $28,000, right? If you were supposed to borrow from the next best financial institution at the 12.5%, you'd be looking at $32,491, right? Right there in this very economy that we're living on, we think about the extra gas that it will take to go to classes. We can think about that extra money that we can put away towards the gas, right? So every saving that we possibly can get, for sure, it has to be appreciated, right? And as you pay over time, even though it's 10 years, if you can pay it off into 8 years, because I know as we complete the program, the 2 years or whenever, we're going to double the income, as Dr. Roy said, she would have experienced, well, her son would have experienced. You can trickle down the timelines. Instead of 10 years, perhaps you can finish in 7 years, right? And the more you pay on the principal, you can pay on the principal throughout the year. If you pay on the principal, of course, naturally, that means that the amount that you have to pay back will be lower, because our interest rate is applied on the reducing balance, or repayment generally is applied on the reducing balance method. So the more you have the principal, is the more that you can, is the less interest that you will have to pay. But if we take it over the 10 years at 1.8, we realize that we can save just about $1 million over the completion of the loan. And that $1 million can go towards your housing deposit, can go towards any other milestone or goal that you want to have in life. So it's not just about the degree, but also about the other assets that you hope to invest in. And I would have said this, but just to reiterate, you should choose SLB, and I highly recommend it because of our lowest interest rates, our flexible repayment windows, no guarantor being required, and the borrowing limit of up to 1.8 million. I know it's not everything for some of the programs, but we're offering you up to 1.8 million, which is much more than other financial institutions will afford you. Now, how do you apply? You just visit our website at slbja.com, click apply online, register with an active email and mobile number, complete and submit. Your loan option, which will be the postgraduate study, complete and submit your application and just follow the progress on your customer portal. Just to close us out, to start your journey, I know there may be questions that you have. So you can scan this QR code on your devices if you're watching on a laptop or computer, or you can screenshot this QR code and go into gallery and hold it down to get the link to pop up. And this will take you to our student financing interest form, which is where a business development officer here at the Students Loan Bureau will be able to communicate with you, guide you through the application, and clarify any possible questions that you may have regarding your loan and how we'll be able to help you to facilitate your investment in your education for your future. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. I know there may be questions, so I'll leave this out on the screen for a little bit until Dr. Royce comes back. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and we'll be more than happy to assist you.
Well, thank you very much, Michael. We appreciate it. We are going to go into, we're running a little bit behind. So we're going to go into comments from the bursary. We have Kimberly Henry from the bursary, and Kim, as I said to you, I have a few questions here for you. We know that these two presentations are the most important and usually stir a lot of interest.
Indeed.
So Michael, if you can stop. Kim, do you have a presentation?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, we're seeing it, but you need to put it in presentation mode.
Got it. All right. Well, thank you so much for having me. My name is Kimberly Henry, and today I am proudly representing the bursary department, specifically the Student Administrative Services section, more commonly known as SAS, as well as our twin office, the Billings and Receivables section. Now, for this presentation, I know that there's a lot of anxiety when it comes on to the financial health that you have to maintain as a student here at the institution, because a lot of things bank on that. So separate and apart from, things, expenses such as food, transportation, the works, there are certain financial obligations that are set, that are needed so that you can navigate your tertiary education. So I urge you to follow us on Instagram. I will not be able to cover all our services, but follow us on Instagram because we're trying to ensure that we keep you in the loop when it comes on to the updates and insights that we believe may be beneficial for you. So who are we and what are we about? SAS and the Billings and Receivables section is basically the customer service hub that addresses any financial queries that you may have as a student here at the UWI Mona. So our core functions are centered around billing our students and ensuring that the billing that is applied to their account is indeed correct. There may be those among us who are benefiting from scholarships and grants, and we're basically the section that will partner with some of these agencies. And we heard from one of our very wonderful partners, SLB, just now. So we will partner with these agencies to ensure that the funds are come in and are applied to your account in a reasonable time. So if by any chance we have anyone among us who has not yet satisfied their commitment fee, I like to phrase it as a deposit. And what that basically is that you make a payment of 35,000 Jamaican dollars towards your account that will basically be used in the future. So it is not a payment that you won't have access to once you start your journey. So I hope I was able to sort that, clear up that misconception. Note, however, that the commitment fee, it is non-refundable, and therefore it cannot be transferred or it cannot be reimbursed. But we will certainly utilize the funds to any other charges that you may face throughout your journey. And one of those charges would be the miscellaneous fees. So we heard from the EMD, which is the Employee Success Division. And this is one of the sections that, your miscellaneous fee will benefit from, because when it comes onto the health insurance, payment of the miscellaneous fee will enable that particular service. Another mandatory charge that you will face would be for the tuition. It is not a one-size-fits-all. It is based on, for example, your program of study, your status, your nationality. Those are some of the factors that come into play to determine the ultimate tuition that is placed on your account. For those among us who are residing on halls of residence, and specifically the MONA-operated halls, we are ensuring that you get a timely update of same, so you will have access to the information that is available to you on the Bursary Online Student System. So the three main financial obligations that you may face throughout your journey are tuition, miscellaneous, and residence where applicable. So for the fees, the payment deadlines, it is fast approaching. The first one is tomorrow. And we have two main ways you can actually go ahead and satisfy your payments. The first of which is that you can make full payment, meaning all of the tuition for the year, the miscellaneous, as well as the residence fees. But if this in itself is overwhelming for you, we do facilitate part payments, where in which tuition and residence, they are billed on a semester basis, and you can therefore satisfy this in parts. Semester 1 and then semester 2. So for semester 1 expenses, these are due tomorrow. So tuition, miscellaneous fees, and residence fees, they are due tomorrow, August the 28th, 2026. And that will then give you some more time if you opt to pay on a semester basis to satisfy semester 2's fees in January when that time comes around. So how do you find the fees? I've mentioned your financial obligations. Where do you find them? How can you justify them? Note that all the fees are published and they're available to you online. So from any search engine, you can type UWI Check Fees or Check Fees UWI Mona, and it is usually the first link that is populated. When you click on that link, it will take you to the interface as shown here, and you can definitely click on the link based on the information that you're looking for, whether it is tuition, residence, or the miscellaneous fees. We've also made it convenient for you. So after you've gone ahead and checked your fees, you're comfortable, you've verified what is on your statement of accounts, you can click on that little red button and you'll be taken to our e-services platform where you can satisfy your payments. So for the tuition, before I go to the miscellaneous, when you click on the link for the graduate programs, if you want to know what your tuition is, simply go to the section that is for your faculty. So the fee sheet is divided into different faculties. And the cheat code, or the simplest way I can say you can understand it, is that if your program is not explicitly listed in the section for your faculty, then that means the information in the first row that speaks to all programs except those listed below will be what is applicable to you. Additionally, there is an appendix at the end of the fee sheet, of the tuition fee sheet, that will allow you to further understand the figures that are there. And you will see the different countries, who is a contributing country, and so on and so forth. So you can use that as your cheat code as you peruse the tuition fees online. But when it comes on to the miscellaneous fees, it can be one of two. It can either be 54,247 or 45,700 and change. Now, if it is a case that you're residing on a hall, whether it is a 138 hall or a Mona hall, then the cost would be 54,247. If you are not residing on a hall of residence and you are commuting, you're traveling to school, or perhaps you are residing on the Marlene Hamilton Hall, then the miscellaneous fee that is due would be 45,747. Now, if it is a case that you look on the fee sheet that is accessible to you online, you would see a different figure. You would see 52,000, you would see 44. What the bursary will do is that we will automatically include the cost for the ID card into the miscellaneous fee. So when you do look on your statement of accounts, the figures highlighted here would be the figure that you're actually seeing. Note as well that this is a non-refundable fee, and it is basically here to enable certain services that may be fundamental to you as you go through your tertiary education. Before, health insurance is very important for academic year that you're registered. And if your first semester being registered for that academic year is semester 1, then that is when the cost will be applied. If it is semester 2, then that is when the miscellaneous fee will be applied. Now, I've included a little screenshot to give you an idea as to what the fees are for residents. However, you can peruse this information once you have the time. The information displayed here, however, is only subject to the halls that are operated by the UWI Mona. But if you wish to see the information operated for the halls operated by 138 Student Living, then that is also accessible to you there. So I've mentioned the fees, I've mentioned the deadlines, but how do you go about making the payments? Do note that payments can be made at the UWI bursary cashiers. If we have persons from WJC, you can make the payments there at their cashier as well. You can also register your card and satisfy your payment on the UWI e-commerce platform, and either one of these options will result in the payment being reflected on your account immediate. If this be full service locations, meaning you go to a teller and you make the payment, or you can use their bill payment option online. Western Union, if I've not yet mentioned them, but any one of these locations, simply go there, provide your ID card, let them know if you're paying for tuition, miscellaneous, then that will be routed to your tuition account. If you're paying for residence, then that goes to your residence account. So once your ID number is included in the transaction, then it will be automatically routed to your student account. Now, we do understand that we may have international students, regional students, or perhaps you're getting financial assistance from a donor, or perhaps the mentioned locations is not one that works for you. We do allow for wire transfers, meaning bank transfers, but we urge you to get the information directly from SAS. And if we should pause a little bit, I just wanted to remind you that fraud is actually a real thing. Persons under the disguise of SAS may call you to say that, hey, we're calling to get a certain information from you to satisfy a payment. We don't do that. What you can expect from SAS is that we will send you reminders or call you to let you know that there's a financial obligation that you ought to satisfy. But under no condition will we ask you for personal information, and we encourage that you use authorized payment channels to make your payments. Now, going forward, we have the e-commerce platform, as mentioned before, but just to give you a quick introduction to this platform. So if you go on any search engine and you type UAE services or UAE e-commerce, you'll be taken to a platform as depicted in the picture here with a lovely lady. You are required to create an account. If you already have an account, you simply log in. But the card that you wish to use, it has to be registered on the system. And to make it even convenient for you, there's a manual that is available online. Upon clicking on that, it will give you step-by-step instructions on how you navigate the website to register your card. And if you run into any issues, you can always reach out to the Mona Information Technology Services, their help desk, aka MITS, right? So call MITS our chat with MITS, and they can help you to troubleshoot to see what exactly is happening. Now, as mentioned before, wire transfers or bank transfers are accepted. However, it is the one that takes the longest to be sorted out. It's a very manual process. So we require for you to get the information, the banking details directly from SAS, so you know that you're actually sending it to the correct account. And we urge you to include your student ID number well as your name if we're also encourage for you to send a copy of the receipt to our email, or you can even WhatsApp it to us, whichever one is convenient to you. Just get it to us, because this is how we'll be able to speed up the process and subsequently apply the payment to your respective account. And as mentioned, it's highly manual, so it can take up to 15 working days for this to be loaded on your account, but you helping us with the payment description and the receipt can help us to move a bit faster. So I mentioned full payment by tomorrow. I mentioned semester one's payment by tomorrow. And if by any chance you need a little bit more time or an easier way to satisfy your financial obligations, then this is how the installment plan will come in. So to qualify for the installment plan, let's talk about tuition. You have to be fully registered, meaning you had already selected your courses and the fees are already populated on your statement of accounts. The miscellaneous fee needs to be paid in its entirety, and a deposit of a minimum must be paid up front. And if by any chance we have any returning pelicans among us, you have any balance outstanding, then that also needs to be cleared up in its entirety as well. Now, we do offer installment plans for residents, and this is specific to the Mona operated halls. So for example, AZ Preston, Taylor Hall, Chancellor, just to name a few, you can definitely benefit from the residence installment plan there. So to qualify for this, you have to first be accepted on the hall. And this way, the charge for the residence will already be on your statement of accounts. Additionally, the miscellaneous fee, it is due upfront, as well as a minimum deposit of 25% of the semester's fees. Again, if you have any outstanding balances, this needs to be cleared up. And this is something that you do on a semester basis when I'm referring to the installment plans. So if you get it for semester one, you have to apply again for semester two. But when it comes on to semester one, the portal is already open and it will close on September 11th. And therefore, you have a little bit of room where you can get your finances in order. So long story short, if tomorrow misses you, then you have up until the 11th to get on at least a payment plan. So what the payment plan does is that after paying the deposit, you have up to 3 months for tuition and residence where you can complete the remaining payment. And once you maintain your financial responsibility due through the installment plan, then you will have financial clearance throughout the duration of the semester. So I've taken some time to sensitize you about your financial obligations, but I have to touch on the penalties just a bit. The first one is that a late fine will be calculated and it will be applied to your account until the balance is cleared. Additionally, a financial hold will be imposed on the account and it restricts certain services that you may get or you would have had benefit to. For example, you can't sit an exam or you cannot access an exam location with a financial hold on your account. It also restricts your ability to see the grades that you have worked so hard to get and so hard to maintain. And also note that for extremely delinquent accounts, we will be sending your information over to a collection agency, but note that we will work with you, we will try to help you to regularize the account. But if you're still in arrears for an extended period of time, then we will certainly send it over, and note that we also report to the credit bureau. So we would rather to send over very good information as opposed to defaulted details. So as I wrap up, I would like to introduce you to our online platform. So SAS utilizes BOSS. So if you want to think about any service that you want to get from SAS in the comfort of your home, then you go to BOSS. So our services available through BOSS basically bridges the gap between our students and the university finances. So any service that you would have been able to get in office, you can also get that online. And as we work with our student population, we see what the needs are. So from time and time again, we may develop a new accessible to you on BOSS, so it eliminates the need for you to come in office. So to locate BOSS from any search engine, you can type UA Online Systems, and under the section for students, that is where you would sign in with your same credentials as you use for VLE and the student administration system, and then you'll be able to access BOSS. So remember I spoke to the installment plan, then that is where you can apply. You can see your unofficial statement of accounts, or if you need an official copy of your statement of accounts. These are just some of the services that are available. But the main ones that we find that our new students may ask for are tuition letters. And for those among us who are sorting out financial assistance through means of scholarships or loans or grants, or you maybe just need a personal record, something official from the institution to outline what your fees are expected to be, then you can request a tuition letter through BOSS, and we'll be able to send that over to the email address to you. So basically you don't have to come in office to collect a letter. I've mentioned the installment plan, and this is where you would go to apply for the installment plan so you can get an extended period of time, quote unquote, to, satisfy your finances throughout the semester. We do offer allocation services as well. So each student has two accounts, tuition, which serves as your main account, and a housing account. So if by any chance you have extra money on one of the accounts, and as long as it is transferable, then we can definitely share it between the accounts as you request. So well, it would be the proxy authorization. From time and time again, you may not be able to come here in office, or you may have to send somebody to do something for you, or perhaps somebody needs to call to represent you, whether it is your mom, your dad, or a legal guardian. We need to know who is coming for you. Your privacy and your financial information is something that we take very important, and we take it very, very serious, because you are our legal client and you have to indicate to us to say, hey, I am sending Mary Brown to collect this document for me, or hey, I am sending Mary Brown to get financial assistance for me. As long as the information is communicated to SAS, then we'll be able to assist. So go on to BOSS and submit the proxy authorization. You get an email for any one of the services that you have requested through BOSS, and you also get an email once that service is completed. So we keep you in the know. So if by any chance I didn't touch on everything that you wanted, you can call us, you can email us, you can chat with us, or just link us through WhatsApp. And again, follow up the Instagram, because we're trying to keep you updated as we go along. So once again, on behalf of the bursary department, we welcome you to the UA Mona Pelican family.
Thank you very much, Kimberly. That was some important information, but I have some questions here for you.
Okay.
I think you might have answered, but just to reinforce. So what generally happens for students awaiting SLB payout, noting that the tuition deadline is the 28th?
Okay. All right. So one of the good things about SLB and the U is that we have an ongoing relationship. And what happens is that as we go throughout the semester, each day they send us a report and they let us know what your status is. They let us know from inception all the way to completion. And using that information, depending on the stage we are in that particular semester, we may be able to assist you based on the status or the progress of your loan, or we may be able to give you some guidance. So essentially, the service that we're able to offer is dependent on your status overall, and we will have information, or we have our liaison officer who can speak with them directly.
Okay, wonderful. I'm in a little situation here. I want to go on the payment plan. However, I didn't know I had to pay 25% of the term's tuition. I'm not in a position to do so. How can I get some assistance?
All right, so the first thing is that with the installment plan, it gives you a little bit of window to try to get the finances in order. So as stated before, the deadline goes up to September 11th. So what I would urge is that during this time, see if it is possible. I'm not sure what services are offered through grad studies, but we do know that we have Office of Student Financing. And these are the agencies on campus who will be able to say what type of financial assistance, if any, is available for you. So outside of that, if you're unable to secure a scholarship, if you're unable to come up with the 25% plus the miscellaneous fee, then at that point you come in office so we can have a one-on-one conversation and we can offer the financial counseling as deemed fit.
Excellent. I would love to know if the miscellaneous payment forms part of the tuition fee. And the same person is asking, should the miscellaneous fee be deducted from the total tuition fee if I decide to pay in full?
Okay, thank you. So there are two different charges. So remember, the three main financial obligations would be tuition, miscellaneous, and residence if applicable. So no, the miscellaneous amount is different from your tuition value, so they should be looked on separately.
Thank you. I paid 25% of my tuition along with the miscellaneous fees. I'm still waiting to hear whether I have been approved for the payment installment plan, as the deadline for this semester is tomorrow.
Okay. All right. So one of the good things is that you were able to apply. And once you've received that email from us to say that we have your application, then that's the best thing that can happen. Because you can understand the volume of requests that are coming in, and we try to work through them as quickly as possible. If there should be any issues or concerns with your particular request, we typically send a communication to you to say, hey, this needs to be sorted out, or we keep you in the loop. So as long as you have an application, you have an email with an e-receipt number to say, hey, we have your application, we have your request here, then that is good, and we will get back to you as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you, Kimberly. It seems like next time we need to give you a half hour, okay? But thank you so much, because these are things that students, if they have this information, then they can plan. Maybe we need to do a pre-orientation with the bursary a few weeks before
Whole
we
session
start,
for the
so
bursary,
students can plan. So that's a thought.
I have them follow the Instagram, and then we'll keep them in the loop with all of that information.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to tell them that. They will do that. Okay, not for old folks like me. So thank you very much for staying with us. We are going to have a little bit of entertainment before we do the vote of thanks. So Axia, it's you again.
Yes. Testing. Oh, yeah. Everybody present. Oh no. Oh, lift up your head and hold it up high. We know that we'll win the prize. Time's getting harder. Still we're striving for better. And we're not gonna stop till the battle is won and we get justice. But if you lose your stance, anyone will try and push you over and over. Lift up your head and hold it up high. We know that we'll win the prize. Yeah. Lift up your head and hold it up high. We know that we'll win the prize. Don't be discouraged by their pitfalls and their worries. Pain endure for the night, but joy cometh in the morning. But if you lose your soul, there's nothing to gain and it will be over and over. Sing. Lift up your head and hold it up high. We know that we'll win the prize. Yeah. Lift up your head and hold it up high. Yes, we know that we'll win the prize. Yes, Shani, Delian, you are winner, Tina Hilton Kong, you are winner now, Jonathan Archie, you are winner, Jason Mackenzie, you are winner now, Judge
Marcia Bennett. You a winner, Marcia, row. You a winner now. Everybody in a chat. You a winner. Everybody just sing and rap. Yeah, you a winner now. Nah go cheat because the color of your skin. Nah go cheat because you want to win. Nah see the king, I see no blessing. Nah say blessing and no blessing. But if you lose your stance, anything will try and push you over and over. Singer, lift up your head and roll it up high. We know that we'll win the prize. Lift up your head and roll it up high. You know that we'll win the prize.
And thank you. You are all winners. Yes.
Indeed, we are all winners here today. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for staying with us. As you can imagine, this evening's orientation program took a lot of effort, and we want to especially thank all of those who made it possible. We're going to start with our keynote speaker, Pro Vice Chancellor for Graduate Studies and Research, Professor Henry Lee. As you can see, your sharing with us was inspirational. Thank you for your valuable insight and words of encouragement to our new graduate students. Our appreciation also go to those who brought remarks. Thank you very much, Mr. Jonathan Archie, our Deputy Campus Registrar. We know this was a last-minute thing for you. Jason McKenzie, Director of OSSD, always guiding our students. And Miss Bennett, Georgia, thank you so much. Our Assistant Registrar for Graduate Studies and Research. I couldn't do this without you. Special thanks to Antoinette Ricketts, President of MAPS, Shanique DeLeon, our Employee Success, who told us about the health card. Remember to collect your health card. Dr. Tina Hilton Kong, thank you for your valuable information about the health center. I didn't know that you have a lab there that we can bring, where we can get our tests. Mr. Michael Montague Jr., thank you. Senior Business Development Officer from the Student Loan Bureau, thank you for your presentation and comparing those values. The Student Loan Bureau really gives the best value. Kimberly Henry from the bursary. Kim, thank you for all that information. Now our students know where to go, and I see you were also telling them about the penalties so they know what they're getting into when the fees are not paid. Thank to our student contributors, Javian Nelson, PhD candidate, and Mr. Nefron Hill, MSc Engineering and Management graduate. Very inspirational. And Axia, thank you so much for your entertainment. Special thanks also for MITS, Mona, Management Information and Technology Services, that allows us to be here online. OSSD Office, we've been planning this for a few months. Of course, the staff in the Office of Graduate Studies and Research for their continued support, dedication, and contribution. Then, thank you, students, for joining us this evening. We hope that you leave informed, inspired, and excited about opportunities ahead. On behalf of the Office of Graduate Studies and Research, thank you all for your participation. We wish you every success in your academic journey ahead. Please have a wonderful evening. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.